The Retro Buzz starts right after this.
Hey guys, it's time for the Retro Buzz. It's Friday night, and we've got a special show for you here tonight. We've got a very special guest that had a huge announcement not just an hour ago, 2 hours ago maybe, 2 hours ago, depending on what time zone you're in. And we got a really excited. Now last week he was caressing the TurboGrafx 16. Now Glenn Planamento is what? Why are you caressing a marquee?
It's a beautiful Angel, well, not an original. He's made other ones. But Angel sent me some of these really nice marquees here. And it's really nice. So I have to give it some love.
Gotcha.
It's pretty.
Make sure you guys check him out, youtube.com/Glenn's Retro Show. I promise you, he won't be caressing marquees. At least I hope not.
No, but he's probably just as weird anyway.
And we've got this week, you've seen with Glenn, sometimes we have a different guest. This week we have COOLTOY, but we have the emo version of Douglas Smith.
Yeah. This is the emo sans hat version, shaggy pandemic hair, needs a haircut.
This
Still
is
here,
no. This is the I didn't get my TurboGrafx 16 coming in January 5th, 2021 Douglas look.
This is my protest. I will cut my hair when I get my TurboGrafx 16. And not a minute before.
You didn't get his TurboGrafx? I thought everyone got their TurboGrafx 16. What are you talking about?
No, remember I was one of those suckers that pre-ordered from Amazon, and I'm still on the hook for that.
I think it was just the Genesis people who have to wait.
That could be.
Doug, to be fair, we all were like that, but then everybody was talking to how great this thing was, even though I got my EverDrive chip, and I said, you know what, screw it. I'm going to cancel my pre-order, go to the Japanese store and Amazon and order it. And I did. But it's a good thing I did, because those of you that are still wanting to jump on the train to get it from Japan, Japan has put a lockdown. They're not shipping anything to the U.S. Right until the foreseeable future because of the outbreak, I guess, kicking up or whatever.
That's not what's happening. I know the truth. That's not what it is.
It's kind of a bummer. You think Doug had something to do with this, don't you?
No, it's partially Kathleen Kennedy, but for the most part, we've been taking the product away from the Japanese gamers, and they want to have their own machines. And I know Kathleen Kennedy's got some friends in Japan, and she put the kibosh on it.
Okay.
She's got long reach.
She does.
She's got that Disney power to every advantage she can. She reaches across the ocean. She plucks things away from unsuspecting gamers.
Yep. She watches this show, and she's just trying to get back at me. That's fine. Yeah. I got mine, Kathleen Kennedy. You're hurting my friends. You ain't hurting me, but you're hurting my friends, okay?
So before we get into some news that Glenn has, want to announce to you guys, next week we will be having the show, but it'll be on a Saturday. We're going to do it 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We will have John Riggs with us. That should be a fun show for us. We'll be talking with him probably about the TurboGrafx 16, among other things. But Glenn, there's also really cool announcements that you've got, some milestones that some of the groups have hit.
Right. Fortunately, it's not kidney stones. I have those too, but not tonight. So the first one that came about was that the official Arcade 1-Up fan page has now hit 15,000 subscribers. So a big shout out to all the fans of Arcade 1-Up out there. It's awesome, that hit. And then also on the official At Games fan page, we've hit 3,000 today. And you want to stay tuned to the end of the episode, because our friend P-Dubs will be coming on the show to do some announcements for 5 lucky winners of some blasts from At Games. You already saw that Angel sent me some nice items there. There was one other thing I wanted to talk about, but Kathleen Kennedy's got me all screwed up. I forgot what
I'll give you a hint. It had to do with a motorcycle and an Arcade 1-Up cabinet. That's what you wanted to talk about.
Oh, right. Right. Doug had a video the other day about, the $50. Not everywhere has it. New York, forget it. New York's always full price. But there are some areas having $50 or even $1 arcade one-up sales. And I don't know if Steven could bring up a shot here, but we had one guy who went out on a motorcycle, and he's driving home with his arcade one-up on his lap, no helmet. He's just driving on the freeway. With,
and he had
like
loafers on
Marvel,
too.
Right?
I'll pull it up here in a second. But
yeah, they got the video picture. I mean, I saw this. I'm like, that's dedication. That's dedication. It's like I can't describe someone driving down the highway with no helmet, with an arcade one-up all the way across their lap in loafers.
Yeah,
you got that picture?
I do. I had to scan back.
Hero we didn't know we needed, but the one we definitely deserved.
There we go.
That's dedication right there.
Yeah.
That is total dedication.
Wind blowing through his hair, just loving life.
Yeah, that's
you got a great deal on a Marvel cabinet. It looks like props to this guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say this to everyone because this keeps coming up every time, and I think you addressed it also, Doug, in your video. Is Arcade One-Up is not going out of business.
Nope.
Walmart is not dropping Arcade One-Up. This has happened before. It's up to the individual stores, and all I can say is some people, like the people at home right now, are just lucky. The stores are liquidating for whatever reason. Buy them and enjoy them. I mean, at $50, $1, that's Space Invaders for $1. If Richie Knuckles saw that, he'd go insane right now if he saw someone got Space Invaders for $1.
Well, wait, and also, did you guys see the email from Arcade One-Up about that? Yeah, Star Wars $50, but did you see the email from Arcade One-Up today? $99 for the control panels. You can get the Star Wars control panel with the yoke. You can get the Golden Tee and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ones, all $99. So if you get one of these cabinets that's like, say, $50, like Pac-Man, buy yourself the control deck, get some graphics from Sabo or Ms. the Prophet or some of those guys out there. You got yourself a killer cab at a cheap price, man.
You do. You do.
I was actually fortunate enough this morning to find a Pac-Man and Galaga cabinet at my local Walmart for $50. So I swooped those up and I donated it to my local community center. So hopefully the kids and people around there.
You're the man.
Hey, I see all these people buying like 14 cabinets, and to each their own, whatever they want to do. I'm blessed to have a job. I'm blessed to have more games and arcades than I really need. So I wanted to spread the joy of retro games and arcades to some people that maybe don't have that opportunity. So hopefully there's some kids and people at the community center that are going to be setting some high scores in Galaga and Pac-Man.
That's really cool.
I noticed he didn't say hair and chiseled good looks, but in any case, Doug, that was really nice. That's really a nice thing to do. And I'm sure
I give that away for free as well over the internet. Just my warm, charming personality. I can't even say that without wanting to beat myself up. That's just too much. Sorry.
Well, also there's some news with the At Games tournament, so you guys make sure you want to check out there's a tournaments page. I don't know if he's here in the chat room, but Gunther has he has a competitions page on Facebook for the At Games. I don't remember the name of the title, but the pool, the game of pool that you can play on the Legends. There's a tournament this weekend. Pocket, yes. There's a
Pocket pool.
So there's a tournament. So make sure you guys get signed up for that. That should be fun, especially when you don't have that one. I'm just gonna get it off. He just. On that note, we want to welcome our special guest of honor. We've got Mr. Zhang Shen. He is the CEO of iiRcade. Welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's great to have you.
Love to have you on. Thank you for coming on.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much for having me.
So
it's very exciting. Love the show.
So what happened? 2 hours ago, you dropped the bomb on the world. Tell us a little bit about it.
Sure, absolutely. So where
to start?
He's like, where do I? Exactly. Do you want me to pull? Do you want me to pull the pictures up? Will that help a little bit?
Yeah, if you want.
Okay.
How about you just give an introduction over the product in general? For people that are unfamiliar with iiRcade and what it's about, and what this device is bringing to the community.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you so much. So first of all, I've been wanting to do that for a very long time, right? So we've been trying to hash out things and make sure that we have everything locked down, so that, for example, I say something and I don't have to change it later on. So I was so glad that we were able to announce that today. I was very happy. Now I feel refreshed right? Just to give a little bit of information about what iiRcade is, it's a home arcade machine. Say it's it's very next generation, where we are able to. So if you will allow me, let me start here. Let me start from when I was a little child, right? When I was a little child, I used to be a gamer. I played a lot of games. I put a lot of quarters in there myself. And then I said, well, when I grow up, I want to have an arcade at my house. And I'm grown up now, and I didn't have an arcade because I couldn't afford it. My house is pretty small, so I couldn't get a lot of games that I wanted. So I said, I need to create something that meets my needs. So I created a arcade machine where I am able to download and install new games onto our system. And when I do that, of course, I gotta have all my spiels that I want, right? The awesome sound, the awesome graphics, and premium cabinet and things like that. That actually fits my house. So that's been my childhood dream, right? So this is exactly what I built. And after I built it, I found out that many other people have the same needs as I do. So we said, okay, let's try to get this to all the gamers out there in the world who's looking for something like this. So that's what happened. iiRcade is basically a product where it's connected. It's got amazing sound and great graphics and things like that. That plays anywhere from your retro games, your favorite nostalgic retro games, to your latest and greatest. And again, great thing is you're not stuck with the games that are in the system. You will be able to get new games from our app store, and the app store will continue to grow, and your ability for you to get new games will continue to grow. And one of the motive was to make sure that we give you a device that never gets old. You always have fun. There's always something new, and that's what we try to deliver. And that's what iiRcade is.
Very cool.
So it's always evolving.
Why is everything not good with old though? Never gets old. What's wrong with old? I don't get it.
Oh no, what I mean is, let's say I'm gonna make up something. So I buy a device, right? And that's it. That's it. Let's say I buy my one of the mini consoles, and it's got 20 games. I play it. I finish all the games, 20 games. Okay, now what? Right?
You got to buy more games.
That's what I will buy a new system, right?
Yep.
I gotta get a new system. That's what I want to avoid. I want to make sure when you buy an iiRcade, it's always fresh. It's always fresh. You can always get something new. I always deliver new experiences to you, and your device is going to be new always. That's the experience we're going to deliver.
So
I mean, I didn't mean whole game, but yeah.
Now I know you're working with third-party vendors to license their properties. Are you guys looking at making any of your own games custom, or just like indie games, just bring other people's games onto your platform?
Wow, that's a great question. I'm hearing that for first time. I love the question. In the future, anything's possible. Right now, we're focusing on games that people love. But in the future, again, anything is possible.
So let me play devil's advocate here for
of
a
course.
second. So I'm a consumer in here. You know, there's a lot of companies out there. You have Arcade 1-Up, you've got At Games, you have all these companies that are making these great 3/4 scale bar tops, all these things. So as a consumer, what separates you from everybody else out there that's going to say to me, take my money? What can you throw out there to the people to say what makes your games stand out? Because I mean, there's other platforms that you can get games from an app store and things like that. But
sure,
this is your chance to say this is what we're about and this is why you want our arcade.
Thank you so much. It's all about experience, right? That's my word, experience. It's an experience that delivers that I have not seen in the market yet today. So experience includes a lot of things, right? Obviously, you are able to play anywhere from your nostalgic retro games to modern games as well. And some of the games that I'll be showing you in the near future, they will really surprise me. The reason why I say this is because it surprised me a lot. Even though I made the device, it surprises me how well these games play. So that kind of experience. The second is let's say when you're playing a game, it draws you in. Even if you're playing the same game, it actually plays really well. I don't like saying this, but it plays better on our product. And if you're playing a game right in front of you, we announced today that we have 19-inch display, 80 watts of very powerful stereo sound speakers, top quality joysticks and everything. It really draws you in. So one of the games that I showed is a game called Dead Effect 2, a zombie shooting first-person shooter game, right? Available first time in arcade environment for first time ever, right? For example, you're using 2 joysticks to control, and as you play, I feel like I am this guy stuck in the spaceship where zombies are infested with zombies, and I gotta survive. It really feels like that. And when zombies are coming after me, it's not only me, but a lot of people jump. So we've shown our device to a lot of people, including celebrities. And I had Ron Johnson, heavyweight boxing champion of the world, play our game, and he jumped. Right? Heavyweight boxing champion of the world jumped. Of course, every time I play, I jump because everything is like really random and things like that, right? And I've seen many other people jump, and right. So I've noticed that it's not only me who's getting very immersed into the game experience. It is people, and these are some of the experiences that we're able to deliver that I haven't seen elsewhere.
Awesome. So we have a guy in Twitch that he's like, I am so excited for the iiRcade. He said that ever since he saw COOLTOY's coverage at CES about it, that he's been excited for it. So I did ask him what excites him about it to give you that feedback. So we'll see what he says.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I am always glad to hear feedbacks like that, and I really appreciate it. We did make a product for my fellow gamers, so I'm so happy to hear that people are excited. Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah, because you yourself are a gamer, right? I mean, this is not something you just drew up in a boardroom. This is a passion project for yourself. Like you said, you wanted to build an arcade, and you found out what was out there, and you realized it didn't really suit your needs. So you kind of developed something from the ground up with your personal gaming background to suit your needs and taste, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me tell you a little story. So the desire to have something like this was since when I was young. The quote unquote product planning, right? Started in about year 2010, 2011 timeframe, right? This is when I started to draw out what I wanted and things like that, and that's when it started, and it built up from then on. So it was a passion project that was actually happening for a very long time that we're finally executing now. From a gamer perspective, Doug, you saw my PlayStation
collection. Yeah.
Actually, what you saw is not the end. This is just a game that I'm playing right now. You got to see my classes.
Nice. Well, that's good. I mean, that gives the community, some faith and some understanding of where this is coming from, and some idea of like what type of experiences you're putting into there, because you're playing this from a gamer type of mindset. You're going into to say, I'm a gamer myself. This is what I want to see. This is what I expect for the experience, the interface, the controls, everything. So that's good to hear from a consumer and a fan standpoint.
Yeah, thank you so much. And what I want to point out is that when I say made by gamers for gamers, I really mean it, because it's not only me. I'm a 40. If I say this, people will find out my age, but I'm a 40-year gamer. And
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you.
No.
Yeah,
you look much younger than that.
I'm 40. I'll be 41 in June.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm surprised. You don't look that.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's surprising. But I'm a over 40-year gamer. I've been gaming since when I was very young, and my team is consisted of people who are like me, very hardcore gamer who got really passion for gaming, and people who also have experience in the industry at the same time as well. I'll be telling you more about my team later on too, but very strong people who love games and who's been doing something like this for the rest of their lives. So that because we all have this passion, right? And because we're building something that we want to have ourselves, this is where our pride comes in, because we finally not believe we've gone through a lot of iterations on this, right? We're like, oh my god, it's not good enough. Oh no, this is not good enough. We did a lot of that, and finally we got to a point where now we're very happy with the product, and that's where I'm able to say it's made by gamers for gamers.
So DeBulls was the guy in the Twitch chat room, and he said about he loves the look for one, the quality behind it, and
Thank you.
the option to expand the library. It was his
Thank
response.
you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So I guess maybe
No,
what we
this.
could,
Sorry.
no. I was just going to ask him to run down the features, but go ahead, Glenn.
I was just going to ask, is this going to be like a kit form factor? You're going to buy it and it gets assembled, like like the arcade furniture. I know you get the top piece and then you get the bottom piece. So is it a pre-assembled kit, or some of it pre-assembled? You kind of just maybe put the base together. How does it come when they purchase this?
Oh, I love your questions. It is sort of a kit, very much IKEA-like, right? One thing is now it's extremely easy to assemble. I have a kid. He's 11 years old, and he assembled in, I think, 12 minutes without any instructions. So if he's able, and he doesn't have much IKEA experience, to tell the truth. Just with a screwdriver, 12 minutes. It's very easy to assemble. Now, great thing is that our box is extremely small, so that you can actually take it on a motorcycle.
It's much safer for the guys out there that want to transport it on a motorcycle. For sure.
No, our box is pretty small, and it's much lighter. I was able to travel in our box through airplanes, no problem.
Wow.
No extra charge.
Really?
So,
Really?
That's pretty.
impressive.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I can carry this by myself, and it's really well done. One thing is now we have a very, very strong factory, right? And very strong designer as well. And our design of the product, manufacturability, was done by a team that has over 30 years of experiences in arcade, making arcade machines, right? So they've made some really popular, really big arcade machines in the past. Big, not the size big, but popularity big. And using that experience, they were able to make it so that it's extremely easy to assemble. And again, my 11-year-old kid did it in 12 minutes, so without instructions.
Oh, nobody reads instructions anymore. Come on.
I agree.
I've been trying to figure out. I've been trying to figure out what to do with all my instruction manuals. I'm kidding.
Fireplace.
Yeah.
Fireplace in the winter.
So
Yeah,
what?
it's very easy to assemble.
Why don't you run down some of the features of the actual arcade that that, I mean, I know it's the experience and whatnot, but what is the experience? What are we getting with this arcade if we buy it? I know, Doug, maybe you can kind of go into it a little bit, the pricing scheme that we saw with the Kickstarter from the announcement for him while he kind of thinks about the feature process, right?
Well, yeah. Or I don't want to like steal the thunder away from Jong, so I'll let him talk about the pricing.
Right.
But
It's all right.
we got a new design. You showed off some new design features. You also announced that we'll have a 19-inch screen shipping stock. So originally you were showing off 17-inch and 19-inch versions, and it looks like you decided to settle on the 19-inch version. So that's really impressive. That's something that helps separate you from your competitors. You've got high-quality joysticks and buttons. You've got the hybrid functionality of it, where you can use it like a countertop or a bar top, or you can have it placed on a stand so where it's a full-size machine, if that's something people are interested in. And then I'll let you take it away with the pricing, John.
Thank you, appreciate it. So from a pricing perspective, we've been getting a lot of questions about how much the price is. So I feel really relieved now that I'm done with that homework. But it really had to do with some of the latest decisions that we had to make, like the screen size. As I said in the Facebook Live today, for example, these parts are extremely expensive, right? So going from 17-inch to 19-inch, I'm being very frank and honest here. It increases our cost of purchase of the part by about $15 to $20, right? And typically, when you're looking at retail pricing, you typically multiply that by 4 to do a quick calculation of how much the retail prices are. So that takes to about $60 to $80 increase in price. So if we were to take the normal route, it would have like brought the price of the device by like about $100. But we decided not to do that because this is actually a real passion project, right? And we said, let's follow our passion. And we want people to, so right now we're playing with our device, right? And it's awesome, right? When we're like, every day we're talking like, we need to get this to people. They need to experience this. And then we said, how can we deliver the best experience so people can really enjoy and be proud of owning our product? As part of the picture, we have to make 19-inch happen, and we have to do it without increasing the cost. So, so let's eat the cost, and let's deliver the product that people will really enjoy and fall in love with. So these are some of the things that sort of had us to delay the price announcement, but we just said, excuse my language, but we just said, screw that, we're just going to do it. So we just made it happen. With $5.99 price, it's I said in the Facebook Live too, but it's not really about money for us. It's about, again, it's about passion and getting our passion to everybody. So that's with $5.99, it doesn't help us too much from a financial perspective. I just let you know, but to us, it was much more important to deliver this experience to everybody in the world and have them fall in love with it. So that's where that came from. Now, going to Kickstarter. The reason why we decided to do a Kickstarter is exactly that. We totally understand that for many people in the world, $5.99 is a great price. Especially, right, we know how much the arcade machines are out there today, and with our capabilities, right, we've done some market research, and the response that we got was about 3 times higher price expectation for at least for our device. But at the same time, we also understand that there are also people who really want our device, but $5.99 is a reachable goal. So that's why we said we want to deliver this to everybody in the world. And right now, the best route is to do a Kickstarter, so we can offer that opportunity for people to be able to do it. Because Kickstarter, if you do it, then it does reduce our cost somewhat, so that it enables us to be able to deliver at those prices.
Cool.
Did that answer the question? Or?
Yeah, no, I mean, they're posted in the chat room here, $2.99 for the Kickstarter. I think a lot of people are probably going to jump on board. I think I do recall Doug saying that he was going to be the guinea pig and jump in.
Oh, absolutely. $2.99, you got my money, John. You got my money.
Thank you. Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
I enjoyed my experience playing this at CES, so to hear the pricing and everything, I'm anxious to own one, buy one myself, so can't wait for it.
Thank you. Let me just say a couple things. So number one, $2.99 is a starting price. So first come first grab, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're sending out all our information as soon as they happen through our email list and things like that. And so if you can subscribe to those, then you'll get information firsthand. Because these pricings, as you know how Kickstarters work, right? They're price tiered. So it's first come first serve. That's number one. Number two, Doug, our device is so much better than when you first saw it. So
that's even more impressive. Yeah,
it's completely different. Let me put it that way. That's why I'm like so anxious to show it to you.
Good. I mean, you showed off your new design today. You can talk about that, because what I saw at CES versus what you've showed off today is 2 totally different items, just from an aesthetic perspective.
Oh, thank you so much. It also from functionality perspective as well. It's gotten the experience at the time. Quite honestly, we thought it was good, but we wanted to make it better. So we continuously enhanced our product, and it played really well at the time as well, I thought, and then it plays much better now. And also we have a lot more games as well, right?
Mhm.
That's the other thing. And then maybe I should say this now. I'm not done yet.
Oh, still
Right.
tinkering with it.
I'm not done yet. I so
Does
our
that
team,
mean like Wi-Fi's coming for it, maybe, or something along that? Is there? I don't remember.
Wi-Fi. We already have Wi-Fi.
You have
Mhm.
Wi-Fi in it?
We already have. It's
I
already,
haven't touched it.
it's already connected.
I've seen it just briefly, because everything was kind of hit or miss, so I didn't really pay much attention with the CES announcement because everything was changing.
Of course, of course, of course. Man, I need to get you one of these. We are Wi-Fi connected. We do have 82.11 AC connection.
Oh, nice.
Very
AC
fast
on it.
AC on
Wow.
it. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
how keep it cool.
Yeah. So,
Right.
so John, you want me to pull up the new design that you showed today, that for people that didn't see it?
Sure.
And then
Absolutely.
you could kind of
Thank you.
talk about this, because somebody brought up in the chat room about, since sound seems to be very important with the experience, are you planning on adding a subwoofer to this?
That's a great question. Of course, in the future, anything is possible. We are listening to you guys very carefully, right? Because I've been consumer before, and there are many times where I wanted something, and I wanted the company to hear me, but nobody was hearing me, and I didn't like that. So when I formed my company, that was the first thing I said. We're listening to our consumers. We're listening to our fans. So we're listening to you, and if there's enough demands, we'll definitely look into those. And software is actually one of the things that was brought a couple times, right? The stand has capability, and there's a lot of opportunity to be done with the stand. And one of the things is the subwoofer. Now, one thing to keep in mind about subwoofer is that those are pretty expensive, right? So the question is, do we want to create a separate stand with subwoofer in it? That may cost a lot of money. But that's something to think about from a, what is it? If there's enough demand, right? That we'll definitely look into and things like that. But one thing that I'll tell you is the bass on our system is really, really amazing, right? So quite honestly, I'm like, do we really need it with that current sound? Um, Not really.
Yeah.
Because
80 watts right in
our
front of your face like that is pretty powerful.
yeah, it's very powerful. Doug, you heard it in CES.
Yeah.
It's gotten much better since then.
Oh, even better.
Even better since then. Yeah, yeah. And it's extremely powerful. When I let me tell you a funny story. I was at one of these celebrity events. I think this was at Oscar or Grammy, one of the two events that we were invited to. And one of the celebrities came over and he pumped up the sound all the way, and he was playing Dead Effect 2, and he shot a gun, boom, and all of a sudden everybody ducked. Gunshot! And the sound is that powerful, and the bass is very strong. So when you actually shoot, you can actually feel it. That's how powerful it is.
Wow.
I have a little
So
question, if I could sneak in here for a second.
Yes.
Only because
You've been
because,
quiet.
you're coming in. I have been, because I've been contemplating my questions. So with we have a lot of manufacturers right now on the playing field now. We obviously have Arcade One Up, we have At Games, and you guys are coming into the ring now. And there's other ones as well. One of the things that's kind of been happening with everyone is, how's customer service? We had some of these manufacturers come out with product. They stumbled in the beginning, and they've been getting their feet now. So with you coming into the play field, obviously you've had some time to kind of see what the other manufacturers had happen. How are you guys looking to handle any customer service? Of course, in a perfect world, there wouldn't be. But if something should happen, what do you guys have in place to take care of the people who purchase the product?
That's a great question, and that's
I have
something
a lot
that
of
we
great
want
questions today. I'm good.
That question is also first time that I'm hearing, and you're asking the right questions and great questions. So thank you for that. Now, man, I really hate saying this, but that's another TBD, because the reason why I say TBD is because we want to make the experience perfect, right? I keep on saying the word experience, but that's what we are really about. Making that experience perfect. So in order for me to be able to make it perfect, it takes a long time. And customer service is actually one of them, right? I've been the consumer side for a very long time as well. And there are many times when I said, "Oh my God, these guys are not taking care of me. I'm disappointed." And that's something that we're trying to move away from. So we want to make this perfect. We're going to take our time to make it perfect. And we actually want our fans, our consumers and users to be part of our family. We call them we call them family. So if we're a family, then you have to take care of them, and that's what we're trying to do.
Well, that's an important thing. I mean, nothing is ever perfect. Not everyone can be Doug. You know, it's just not possible. You may get it. You might get it me. You might
Doug
get it
is
me. So,
impossible to do. Yeah.
so the thing is, nothing's ever perfect. It is about the user experience. I mean, obviously, when you're selling anything, the experience comes from when you purchase it to the last day you use it. And obviously, along the way, there's going to be issues. But it just depends on how you're treated when there are issues. If something arises, how well you're taken care of. Because I'll tell you right now, I was in customer service for a lot of years myself. And you can have the most irate person with the biggest issue. But if you just treat them well and some respect, you know, usually they're fine with it. You know, oh, it's going to take so long. It's going to take a couple weeks to get a product. It's got to come from China, Japan, whatever. They deal with it. So, yeah, I'm just trying to find out, as long as that's your, I'm assuming everyone would be that way, but it's your mentality of you're there to make sure they're taken care of. To be determined is understandable. You haven't even launched it yet. But it's just something I want to plant in your head that's just as important as having great sound, great graphics, a great product, is you have to be there for the times where things are not perfect, how well they're treated, because that customer is the one, as we all know, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. But the happy customers you never hear from. Usually, you get a quick, it's great, it's great. But that one person with the one problem can derail everything. So I just want to make sure that's something that's on your mindset, that customer support is just as important as the aesthetics, the sound, the speakers, and so forth. So just want to plant it.
I completely agree with you. And in fact, that's one area that I am focusing on myself, right? Personally myself, to make sure that the experience is going to be perfect. When I say our fans and our users are family, I really mean it. And we take care of our families, right? So we are definitely looking to that. And where this all comes into play, right? Everything is sort of like that, where we say we are listening to you. We are really listening to you, right? So if you have any issue, and let's say you call our customer support and you found the issue, I'm going to be looking at them myself personally, right, to make sure that these are resolved. Now, one thing that we're doing on our device that where we think we're doing it well is that if you see an issue, that's not the end of the story, because for us, let's say you have a software issue. Our software is upgradable through Wi-Fi. So you report an issue, and then we'll fix it, and then we're going to get it to your device as soon as we can. If you look at our device, our device hardware, right, is extremely modular. For example, the top portion consists of, I think it was 10 different modules. Let's say if something breaks down, all we have to do is replace that module with a new module. It's very easy to plug in. It's very easy to fix. So we made it, we designed our product on purpose so that it's very easy to fix, very fast to fix. On the software side, everything is always upgradable. So if you see any issue, that's not in the world, because we're going to fix it and we're going to get it to you. So customer service, enablement, we've worked very hard to take care of from an enablement perspective. So we enabled it. Now, from an actual service perspective, we're working very hard right now to make sure that it's perfect, because you guys are family to me and you guys are family to us.
That's great.
Thank you.
Another question I saw in the chat room, and I apologize, I didn't see who put it there. They did ask a question about HDMI out. Is that something like an option you'll have in there to not only for streamers, YouTubers to stream it, but some people want to, display it on maybe an external projector or something like that. Does this have the ability to have an HDMI out?
That's a great question. We've actually been looking into that very hard, and we've decided not to implement it.
Do it. Hey, I'm just being real, because I mean, think about it. I know you might have decided not to do that, and I know I cut you off there, but I think that like if you want to bring something in like this in a live stream, and I know you're not thinking about that, but down the road, this could be something that you could show your product off so much better by having that HDMI. I know we're being selfish about that, but you see what we're able to do with the Legends Ultimate, and that has HDMI.
Yeah. No, I hear you, and I totally agree with you. And like I said, anything is possible in the future. I've actually heard several comments about HDMI out, and it's something that I would personally like to have myself too. So, right, anything is possible in the future. Right now, what we wanted to deliver was that perfect experience of playing the game right in front of our device. That's where we like totally focused on to make that perfect, without getting derailed.
Can I ask a really stupid question? And not I don't want to say it's stupid, but all these 3/4 cabs have come out, and if you have now, my wife, she's supportive of this. You know, I have 12 cabinets down here. I've got the virtual pinball. I got the ACT games. Okay, this is the game room down here in the studio. But what about the guys out there that maybe are buying iiRcade that don't have a most understanding wife? One of the things that I've seen every one of these companies fail to produce is a headphone jack.
Yeah.
Something that simple.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a flower pot to pop out flowers to give to the wife. Okay, that works too.
Well, that's on you're on your own with that one. But I mean, you have this great sound and capabilities, but it would be great to have a headphone jack for those guys that, especially if your wife is working a different shift, or you have kids and they want to play and it's in your living room because you don't have a game room, and you're sitting there trying to watch TV or watch a program and you want them to play with, and of course they want the sound because it's got killer sound. Headphones, is that something that's in the pipeline or thought about, or is there a reason that you're not doing something like that?
Let me start here. First of all, I will think about the flower pot feature.
Awesome.
I think that's a great idea.
How's that for customer service, Glenn?
How's that? Yeah.
The second thing, I will say, love the question, great question, and done. Which come true. We already have 3.5mm SFJ.
Well,
nice.
I seen I seen something like that, but I wanted to draw attention to it because nobody has it. Nobody thought about doing that. You're talking about experience. See, Glenn, I can do good questions too. You're not just the only one.
And you know what? If they can't do the HDMI out, try and at least put in some RF, and we can use our old games.
All right, let's get off of him right now.
Channel 3, Channel 4.
Glenn, I heard you loud and clear.
No, you didn't. Like don't do that.
You can't get more retro than RF, and that's, I think,
I personally think there are many ways to get game displayed onto a TV. So I heard you loud and clear.
Ooh, air display. I see where he's going with this. I see where he's NDI. I'm liking this. So Triple Lex in the chat room wants to know, all right, how many games are coming on this bad boy?
Oh, thank you so much for asking the question. I get a lot of the question. And let me answer this question. I want to jump back to the previous question real quickly too. But right now on Game Store, we'll have a lot. We do have over 200 games officially licensed.
Nice.
And we have really amazing games, and many of the games I'm willing to bet that you'll be surprised, because it's surprising me right now still. So new experiences as well as old nostalgic experiences. I mean, somebody who was very attentive saw the video that I played today and said, "Hey, you guys have this and this game that I haven't heard before. Cool." And lots more like that coming soon, right? From a preload perspective, a lot of people asking that question. We want our preloads to be something that really showcases the device, right? And these games you will play and you will fall in love with. And we're going to make sure that happens. Great thing about our device is that preload games are not the only ones that you can play. you can always get new games from our App Store, right? In other words, we're not going to crowd you, make the device crowded with like 10 million games that you're not going to play. We're going to give you a great games, a good number of games that are amazing to play. You will always play this with your kids and or by yourself and love them. And then go to App Store to get more games. They'll be pretty affordable as well. And so that your device is yours. It contains games that you like. It doesn't contain the games that the like for example me. I thought you liked that I want to give you, and end up that you don't play. You will actually have the device games that you like on the devices because on our device you can pick and choose.
So
Right.
you're not going to put like 20 versions of Centipede on there and 30 versions of Burger Time and
Unless you want it.
well, no, because
Put it on yourself.
that's what a lot of guys
If
are
you want
doing.
to buy 30 versions, you can do that.
Hey, that's what a lot of guys are doing with their MAME cabinets, and I just don't see the point to it. And
Right.
I get it, like there's an original version of Tetris. There's I get it. I do. It's nostalgic. Glenn would do it. He'd probably have 3 of each, but the
Yeah, it's true.
but you're right. I mean, I want something. I'm very particular with the arcade cabinets, and I broke my rule last week on my one arcade that I put Sega CD and TurboGrafx games on, and I was strictly keeping it arcade games. I did not want anything else, but I broke down, and it's all Doug and Glenn's fault. That's all I'm saying.
Isn't it always Doug and Glenn's fault, right?
Always. That's right. See, he's only been on the show almost an hour, and he already knows it's Doug and Glenn's fault. See, I'm glad.
Yeah. So we are going to make sure that your device is yours, and we don't take over. So when you get your device, of course, when you first turn it on, you have to have games, and I want you to say, "Holy cow, this is like the best game ever!" And then let's see what else is on there, and you go in and go, "Holy cow, you got awesome games on here! I'm gonna get the games that I love." And device, right? So that device is really yours.
Now,
It's not mine.
Can
but
you bring
ours,
your
yeah.
own game? Like if you have your own, like say from Steam or something like that, can you bring it yourself, or are we locked to your app store?
So first of all, Steam, we'll see what happens in the future. From a piracy perspective, we definitely do not support piracy. I've been in the industry for a very long time, and so have my teammates. And we've worked with and talked to a lot of game publishers before. And these game publishers are people that are spending a lot of money and a lot of effort to bring you the best games that you guys love. And these people are losing a lot of money because some of the dishonest companies are stealing their games, right? So our number one rule for us was we need to make sure piracy does not happen on our device. But at the same time, you know what people are really actually looking for, especially from my research, is not piracy, but they're looking for something that's affordable, right?
Right.
So if you have something that's affordable, that is very official, and you don't have to waste a lot of time or risk your computer to getting virus and things like that to get, and it's very easy to do, gonna give you the best experience you will ever have. People will pay for them, and people actually want to pay for them. But today, they couldn't because they had no other option. We are giving them that option to make sure that they get the best games, official games at prices that are affordable, that they will fall in love with. At the same time, they support your developers that are putting a lot of effort for you to bring these great games. So that's what we're about on that question.
Well, and you're right. I mean, you're absolutely right. People would pay for them, but there's been a long time where that simply wasn't possible. I mean, it's only in the past maybe 10 years that retro gaming has really come to the forefront. Companies really didn't care, but they cared, but they didn't care to cater to people like us. But now they're realizing, you know what? There's a lot of money to be made here. And I would say 90, 95% of us, I mean, obviously, look around me, I buy 5 of them. So people will buy that, but there's always there's always going to be piracy. No, there's always going to be that time when that's still going to happen. So I understand what you're trying to say, and I also understand from the licensee's standpoint. But to make something completely uncrackable, I mean, you can look at any of the Xbox 360, Xbox One, PlayStation 4. As hard as they try to lock it down, it's more of a challenge to get it hacked, than they've always done it.
Well, look at the TurboGrafx Mini. It didn't even take people didn't even have it 3 days.
It's not even out here.
Yeah, I mean, and it's already been hacked.
So right, and you know what? Part of that is, again, the Mini, as you all know, I've been not quiet about it. The Minis, I really am enjoying them. But even with that being said, there are some games on there that to me were questionable. Just like the PlayStation didn't have like a Crash Bandicoot. There's some weird games on there. They're all fun games, but to have Devil's Crush, to have Alien Crush, not have Devil's Crush. I mean, that was a much better game. So it's just things like that. It's an individual thing, and you can't get it on the Mini. It's just not offered, period. So it's when things like that happen, I'm still bought the product, but Devil's Crush is probably going to find its way on the Mini at some point. But what you're doing is, I understand what you're doing is you're going to have an app store where you can purchase it. With that, I'm rolling into my long-winded question, is when you purchase the game, obviously you're downloading the content, I'm assuming, to your machine, and you have it. What if you lose the license for that game? Does that individual still hold on to the game they purchased, or do you have to pull it from the machine?
We don't have to pull it. One thing that I made sure that we support is whatever you buy is yours, right? So I've fallen into similar thing before where, for example, I purchased something through, like, for example, like streaming platforms, right? And the company went out of business and I lost everything. And I hated that. So on us, whatever you buy is yours. You get to keep. So we're going to make sure that happens. And then, of course, again, just going back to what you said, it makes sense, right? If the device is closed and you only have like 10 games and that's it, and you don't like those games, but there's no other way to get your games in. Yeah, I understand that people will hack it so that they can get the games that they've downloaded and loaded to be able to play. But if you're offering a system where now it's open and you will be able to get all these games that you like onto the system because the platform is open, then I think the story changes a lot. And there of course there are many people out in the world who loves to pirate for fun, right? That's a very small percentage, but yes. But most of the people that I've looked at and talked to and interacted with, most of these people actually want to support the developers, and at the same time make if they just not drink, I don't know, some cups of coffee, then they can get their favorite games easily, and all these are official, and these are guaranteed to be perfect experience that they were designed for. I mean, I spend some I would not drink some cup of coffee and just get these things, right? Because I want to be able to do all these. From our technology perspective, we are doing everything to protect up the device, right? So that piracy does not happen on our platform. Again, there will always be people who's gonna try to go in and crack it and things like that. Of course, there are always those people. But from our moral perspective, I think that's where we're important. Moral perspective, our goal is not enable, and we condone piracy. Period.
And from a technical aspect, you mentioned it earlier on your previous live stream. You've got some actually pretty interesting beefy hardware inside this. You want to touch on what you've got inside this machine?
So that's a really good question. Now, I've said this a couple of times before, but one thing that I don't sort of like talking about is specification, right? I delivered it today because a lot of people were asking about it, but I've actually been developing some very complicated products in my life. I developed a lot of mobile devices, right? My previous life, and so one thing that I've learned from all these experiences is specification doesn't mean anything, right? Because no matter how you spend a lot of money and put the most expensive components in here to beef it up, it's gonna slow down eventually, right? It took about a month, at most 2 months. Every single device will slow down. That's because these devices are trying to do everything at the same time, and it doesn't, right? It always slows down. But what happened was that because you put in expensive components in here, it really jacked up the price. So these, right? If you look at how the prices of your mobile phones are going up tremendously these days, you'll know what I mean. So instead of that, what we said is we have really good specs right now, right? And the games are running amazingly right now. But what we said is, let's go the other way, right? First of all, let's make the spec great, right? Specification from engineering wise great, but what's more important than spending a lot of money to buy these components is how we engineer it. And we have really good engineers in our team, and we engineered it so that it's like really optimized for gaming experiences, for both hardware and software. And these hardware and software are optimized to each other. And if you look at our software, I mean, again, you guys know the specs today from today, but all these high spec hardware that we have are 100, say 99.999% utilized for the game that you're playing right now. So if you're playing the same game on another device, right, and then you play this on our device is much cheaper than the device that you're playing this on, like, right? But it plays much better on our device. I've actually had people ask me, like, holy cow, what happened? And I tell them that this is all about great engineering. It's all about great optimization. And this is what's bringing the experience, great experience that you're having. And that's why the most important thing is the experience. It has nothing to do with the specification.
That'll be interesting
So-
to compare that with the other players on the market and actually do video comparisons, maybe the same. Really,
Mhm.
can't you get through a
Well,
whole
we talked
show
about
without?
experience. Well, he's talking about experience. You know, it was an 8-bit machine, but it had the experience of a 16-bit machine. So I understand what he's saying, and I agree with it. Hardware specs don't really mean anything because a lot of times in the industry, you had much more powerful machines, and the less powerful one, like the Nintendo Wii, it was much less
absolutely.
powerful than the PS3 and the Xbox, and it blew it away. The games were fun, and it didn't really matter about the horsepower. They were better playing games. So I understand what he's trying to say. That's what I was trying to do with my little TurboGrafx.
Yeah. You were trying to throw it in Doug's face. I know what you were doing. I'm not. Listen, every time I see you doing that, I sit there and go, he's trying to rub it in Doug's face. He's like sitting there like,
No.
Doug is gonna cry.
No.
Doug's gonna ninja kick you in the next week.
Yeah.
Well, John,
have a week. I need 2 days, man. Just wait till Sunday for you kick me into the following week.
John, we're gonna have to wrap up this portion of the show, the recording here. Do you got anything final that you want to kind of give to everybody, and then they can, those that stick around for post show, they can call you and ask some questions on the show.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you so much for that. So I'm very excited for today. I'm very excited that you're with us, right? And again, this was a passion project. We're making this happen. We're doing this we're making it for you, and we want to make this successful together, because if we do this together as a team, then we can get more games and things like that as well. So let's make this happen together. You guys are family to me. We'll make sure that we deliver you the best plan possible. Again, from an announcement perspective, right, if you can sign up on our website and our social media and things, we're going to make sure that we deliver the latest information to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much for having me today. It was a lot of fun. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Make sure you guys check out iiRcade on all the social channels and iiRcade.com, and we'll see what comes out. I know this guy's already sold on it, Mr. Douglas Smith. YouTube.com/COOLTOY.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I enjoyed my experience at CES playing it. Now Jong's telling me it's even better than it was then. It's got a new vamped up, reskinned look, new button colors. I mean, I really like the new design. It's much improved in my opinion over what I saw at CES. So I'm very excited about this. So definitely, if you guys are interested, make sure you're sticking around to the social media channels, because you don't want to miss that early bird pricing. That's for sure.
Also, Doug's
Thank
been.
you, Doug.
Sorry, Doug's been working on
We're gonna surprise you even more. But
Oh, bet.
so go ahead.
Awesome.
Doug's been working on some videos for his Legends Academy. What's on deck for this week, if you can share?
Yeah, so Sunday it'll be a little tutorial on getting to know the ArcadeNet side of the At Games Legends Ultimate Arcade Cabinet, learning a little bit about what those games look like, how they differ from the 350 built-in games, and what your online capabilities look like with the ArcadeNet system.
Awesome. So make sure you guys subscribe over at youtube.com/COOLTOY. And this guy's been busy too, and I think Negan's kind of taken over your studio quite a few times.
Yeah, I think actually there may start to be a Negan episodes coming out. He seems to be quite excited, and I've been really busy with work, so maybe Negan may have a couple more episodes coming out. He seems to be enjoying himself.
Absolutely. Well, make sure you guys go check him out. And your buddy over here, John, he messaged me and he says, Glenn's YouTube link is wrong in his lower third, and I've told him months ago. And he just ignored it. I said, well, you need to tell me because that's when it'll get changed. But Mr. John Wagner wanted to make sure that everybody knows youtube.com/gplanamento, not Glenn's Retro Show, unless he changes it.
No.
So.
You know what? There was one other thing we forgot to talk about, dude.
What's that?
I can't believe we forgot it. I started yet another Facebook group.
Yeah, why didn't you bring that up? You bring up everything else.
I don't know. I guess I'm not good at self-promotion. It's not who I am.
All right, so you started a new. All right, I'll do it for you then. So Glenn started a new group that's dedicated to all these mini consoles, and you guys can go. What's the exact link? I don't have it pulled up.
Well, I don't know. We'll have to put it up. We'll put it up maybe later in the show notes. But basically, it's the completely unofficial Classic Mini fan page.
Oh no, it's the official group.
Official.
I'm calling it the official.
You're calling it official? Okay, it's the completely official, unofficial mini fan group. So basically, all the minis, like this one. Minis.
Oh, here he goes
all
again,
the mini
Doug.
machines. And we have Nostalgia in there, and we're trying to get other YouTubers like Patton Plays. Hopefully, he'll join us as well, because these guys are very good at the hacking aspect of these little machines. So we're trying to make this group in a way to enhance your machines a little bit more.
Awesome. So make sure you guys go check it out, look for it. And guys, remember, next week, no show on Friday. The show will be on Saturday. Those of you that are still here, stick around. We're going to open up the call-in line so you guys can call in. And don't forget, we got a giveaway that we got to do coming up. And you guys can find me everywhere, the Tech Buzz, that everywhere. You can just go to thetechbuzz.net. We will see you guys next week for more of the Retro Buzz. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.